Now calling to order a regular meeting of the City Council, Tuesday, November 26, 2024 at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Rogancy.
Here.
Councilwoman McGee is absent. Councilman Dwyer.
Here.
Councilman Boyke.
Here.
Councilman Noonan.
Here.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Councilwoman Moore. Motion to excuse Ms. McGee.
Support Lafferty.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item.
Next item is adoption of the consent agenda. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 5, adoption of the agenda. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Add under Council Business 13C, to authorize litigation regarding damage to the city's waste transfer station and authorize the hiring of Cots Sangster PC to bring legal claims against prior operator as outlined in attorney-client privilege memorandum from the City Attorney's Office dated October 1, 2024.
Any other discussion? Makers of the motion comfortable with the amendment?
Without objection.
Yes.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item, calendar of pending matters. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November 12th, 2024. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Support Noonan. Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7B, approval of the minutes of the special meeting of November 12th, 2024. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 8A, approval of the bills of the general revenue funds. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Yes, just a reminder that because of the holiday, checks will be going out tomorrow.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 8B, approval of the bills of the water and sewer system. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation, agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address the City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form located at the right side of the stage. This is a reminder that per our council rules and procedures, you must write your name and address on the audience form or give your name and address at the podium. You have 3 minutes. This is for audience. This audience is for agenda items only. There's additional time at the end for general audience. No audience. Thank you. Next item.
Next item is announcements, 10A, resolution recognizing Charles Mancini. So moved.
Ms. Moore?
Yes, Madam Chair. Whereas Charles Mancini has been practicing law with distinction throughout Michigan from the city of Warren for 50 years and continues to lead Mancini Schrader Klein PC in its service to the Warren community. And whereas Charles Mancini began his practice in Warren in 1974, working above UAW Local 869 and quickly building a reputation for fierce loyalty to his clients following his completion of both a law degree and a Master of Business Administration, which he pursued simultaneously while working at Chrysler and as a UAW member at Ford and General Motors. And whereas Charles Mancini has been a strong advocate for workers' rights, assisting families and disabled people, and working to strengthen and improve financial stability and quality of life for the citizens of Warren. And whereas Charles Mancini has been recognized and honored by the State Attorney General's office and his legal colleagues as a leader in the field of workers' compensation law, having built a firm of lawyers dedicated to helping the citizens of Warren and surrounding areas with their legal needs. And whereas Charles Mancini continues to be a trusted and wise friend, resource, and mentor to many other leaders in the Warren community. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Warren hereby recognizes and honors Charles Mancini for his exceptional dedication and contributions to the legal profession, his advocacy for workers and families, and his longstanding service to the citizens of Warren. We express our deepest gratitude for his dedication and commitment, and we extend our best wishes for his continued success and fulfillment in all his future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Charles Mancini as a token of the Warren City Council's appreciation for his outstanding career and his unwavering commitment to justice and community service. Resolution declared adopted on this 26th day of November, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congrats, Chuck.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Moore.
I'd like to thank Central Cartage. They delivered turkeys today to families in District 3. They are all very, very appreciative. I was down at the food bank at Lord of the Harvest at 9 and Shaner this morning, and they do a great job there. They have a pantry on Tuesdays, and they feed about 80 families, 70 families, 80 families, and then on Wednesday they feed about 50 families, and they are always looking for help. They need donations all the time, especially fruits and vegetables, and if anybody can help out, that would be greatly appreciated. They're open to the public from 9 until about noon each of those days. I was there at, I don't know, maybe 8 or 8:30 this morning. People were lined up already, so. And also Amber Lemon contacted me about 5 years ago and was interested in delivering Thanksgiving meals, and we set up something here at the community center, and each year it's gotten bigger and bigger, and this year she was at Fitzgerald with her group. I wasn't able to go. I think Mr. Lafferty went, and he can speak about how that all went, but it's grown into quite an operation now. They help a lot of families. Also, a couple of weeks ago, many of you probably know, one of our police officers was tragically injured in a hunting accident. There is some good news. He has made progress. I just got a little update before I left today. On Sunday, he was able to breathe on his own without a ventilator for 2 consecutive hours, and then again later in the day for 3 hours. His mom said prayers have been answered, and I know there are many, many more answers to come. Keep the prayers coming. He had his best day yesterday. He enjoyed watching football, and the nurses were able to move his bed like he was in a lazy boy. He loved it. He mouthed that he wanted some different snacks. He also wanted his phone so he could watch his fantasy football scores. They are asking for specific prayer requests for all the air to disperse out of his belly so they can start using the feeding tube that they put in earlier in the week, feeling in his hands, arms, and shoulders to start coming back, and of course his legs as well, and to be fully weaned off the ventilator so he can communicate better. They are very thankful to the doctors and nurses that are taking wonderful care of him, and of course thankful to his brothers and sisters at the Warren Police Department. They have been by their side and beginning within hours of the accident, and they haven't left Nick's side the entire time, 24/7 shifts right outside his door. So that's wonderful, the support he's given, and we all are praying for his full recovery. It's going to be a long road. If anybody would like to make donations to help the family during this time, you can take them to the police department. They will accept them. And the family would certainly appreciate that. He's got a little 7-year-old boy and a wife, and of course, they're in Ann Arbor all the time. So that's difficult to stay in, all the expenses that go with that, not being able to work and everything. So anyway, we certainly hope he gets better. That's it for me.
Additional announcements.
Madam President,
Mr. Lafferty.
thank you. As Ms. Moore alluded to, there was a food distribution at the Fitzgerald Recreation Center, and the number of people that volunteered was just, the outpouring of support was absolutely heartwarming. It was a wonderful experience, and more volunteers that were needed, which is a wonderful thing. As I understand it, there was a food packing party the night before, and so the church's involvement and support from the community, support from our own CERT, were there to help direct traffic on Saturday early morning. They had the roads all marked, and everyone was in position, so thank you to CERT for all of your expertise in helping to move this along. It was a very smooth operation. They got them into the property, moved them into position, and then there were 4 stations, and people got in, and it was less than a minute to get through the line once you were running through. And it's just a wonderful outpouring of support. So thank you to everyone that participated, and they're looking for ways to make it bigger and better next year. So hopefully we'll outgrow the recreation center, but with more donations are needed terribly. I heard several stories during that event, and then thereafter being contacted by those that needed additional assistance. And so if you have the means to share your prosperity with others, that is very needed. And it's not just at Thanksgiving and Christmas. People are hungry all year long. There are different needs throughout the year. So please, if you have the means, please do so and help our neighbors out, especially here in Warren. I would also like to thank Mr. Patrick, if you've got the image that I sent to you at Butcher Park. Council remember a couple of meetings ago, I asked for a crossing and signage, and there it is. It's done. Not only, and if you go to the next picture, you might be able to see on the other side, there was actually, the side didn't quite line up. You can see the new grass that they put in on the other side of it. One of the walkways didn't quite line up perfectly, and so Tina Gapshus and her team and Dave Mazzarelli and his team worked together to line these up, put in the crosswalk, and put up the signage so that it's much more clear. And so we have a safe crossing across a busy road. Thank you to Mr. Mazzarelli and Ms. Gapshus for all of your work and the work of your crew to bring that together in record time. Something so simple that's so meaningful to the community and is a prototype for many of our other parks in similar situations. So look forward to seeing that expanded to many of our other parks throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Mr. Noonan.
I'd like to announce that the Warren Public Library is making the announcement that per the Library Commission, the Bush Branch Library will be closed between the hours of 2:15 p.m. and 4 p.m. Monday to Friday from November 22nd, 2024 until February the 28th, 2025. The reason for why they're doing that has to do with kids being overly rowdy, waiting for their families to come and pick them up, and it's kind of a sad deal. I would like ideas for how we can do better for the kids. So if you have suggestions, please call me at 586-360-4998. That's my cell phone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noonan. Any additional announcements?
Oh, Madam Chair.
Ms. Moore.
Yeah, I would just like to have everyone save the date for January 23rd, 2025. The Warren Symphony Orchestra will be having their winter gala, and it will be at Andiamo this year. So tickets will be available pretty soon, so if you're interested, you can hit me up, or there'll be some available probably through the mayor's office, or this, you can call the symphony or the email. So we'll have that on the website, or Facebook too. So, thank you.
I have two announcements. One is that compost is being picked up through Friday, December 13th. For folks still doing yard work, it is quite warm out. And then additionally, there is a presentation on the active mobility plan from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, December 11th at the Maybelle Burnett Library. So those who are interested, I would call the planning department. I think it's also on the city's Facebook page. Any other announcements? Okay, hearing none, next item.
Next item is 11A, which is a public hearing, request to approve the demolition of a house and shed located at 7584 Chalmers through the nuisance abatement program.
Mr. Lizay, can you summarize this matter for us? Oh, push the button, Mr. Lizay.
Hello? Hello, is it working?
It's very low. Patrick, could you maybe turn it up?
Hello? You hear me?
It's
Very faint.
barely, yeah. Might be a technological challenge. Oh, again, thank you.
It's you.
It's me.
We're
Sorry,
good?
Mr.
Okay,
Lizay,
that's
go
good.
ahead.
Again.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
this
Mr.
home
Lizay.
was a vacant, dilapidated home, vacant and we declared it, but it went back-to-back taxes to the county, and so this gentleman right here, I believe, has purchased his home, and now we do have city certs that were issued on October 17th of '24, and we do have inspections scheduled for 12/12/24. All of our inspectors, all 5 inspectors will get into this home and do an inspection. So that's where we're stand at right now. Certs issued, paid for in October, and if we're gonna save it, I'd like to get this is a gentleman here, I believe, that purchased the home. Of course, as usual, we'd like to get a timeline on it.
Thank you. And you're the petitioner? Or purchasing?
Yes.
Can you give us your name?
My name is Sal Busy. I purchased the property, and so far we have cleaned up the front yard, including the grass and the fence, and all around the property. Cleaned up the interior of the house, and then just waiting for the inspection on 12/12 of this year. And then after that, looking to remodel the house and do the demolish the shed.
Thank you. If you could have a seat, we'll probably have some questions for you. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak on the matter? Hearing and seeing none, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to council for action.
Let's see here. Motion to deny the request to approve the demolition with discussion.
Support.
Support. Secretary Moore. Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Lizay.
Good evening.
With everything being issued in October, looks like we've already got a head start from where we're typically at this point.
Correct.
And so, given your expense, you've been in the house?
No, that's what I'm waiting for, is we get in there on December 12th, and we get a full evaluation of what it's like inside there.
Okay. So
I
you-
believe it's pretty cluttered. I believe he has started cleaning it out so we can get in there and do a safe inspection of the property. I mean, I'm hoping we can get a timeline. What I'd like to hear is a timeline of discussion on that. What are we looking at here? Our city certs are good for 6 months until they start to expire. So, I mean, I'd like to see him save the property if he could, because he has purchased it from the county. The county does not advise anybody when these houses are declared, it's a due diligence of the purchasers when these go to the county. So obviously, this gentleman bought this property not knowing, we're not coming to the city prior to purchase, so that's where we're at with it right now.
Okay. And through the chair to the new owner, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your name.
My name is Sal Busy, Sal.
Busy.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Busy. And so you have purchased this home, the home is now in your name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so taxes,
That's
Paid up
all
to
has
date?
been paid.
okay, so everything is up to date?
Yes, everything is up to date, including some of the other bills from the city. That was also paid.
Wonderful. All right, I am inclined to support this for a 6-month. So, and typically, we're pulling these out of abatements, and we're setting aside what we've done before. So my initial motion was to deny. Perhaps what we should do, through the chair to Mr. Schroeder, should we table for 6 months with the option to bring this back if this falls through? Yes. Okay. So what I will do, unless anybody else has any questions, I'll make a motion to table this item for 6 months until date certain, May 20th, 2025, with the condition that Mr. Lizet doesn't bring back any reports that you are not holding up your end of the bargain. And council reserves the right to bring this back at any time during that time, should that be the case, but we have good faith in you and your investment into the city.
Thank you, everyone.
Support.
I will call the question. Ms.
Repeat that date for the reschedule again.
May 20th, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lafferty,
Yes, to table.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Boyke,
Yes.
Mr. Noonan,
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Item is tabled to May 2025. Next item.
Next item is 12A, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving amendments to the 2021, 2022, and 2022-2023 Housing and Community Development Action Plans, CDBG budgets. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12B, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving amendments to 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024 Housing and Community Development Action Plans, HOPWA budgets. So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Support Noonan. Discussion. Mr. Lafferty?
Thank you. Is Mrs. Tereschenko here? I can't. There she is.
Good evening.
Good evening. One question for you. Somewhat related to this, it's CDBG, you know. All of the allocations that we made to all of the different groups, St. Vincent de Paul and Care House and others, is there any other opportunity to redress those? And is there a federal opportunity to acquire additional funds after the first of the year?
So the funding that was already allocated to older budgets, all of those funds are accounted for. Starting in January, we will start our process for the 2025 budgets. And at that time, you know, all of the organizations can apply for funding at that time. We don't have any additional funding that's available. So an organization that was already allotted some funding, we don't have any money to provide additional funding at this time, but they're welcome to apply for our next cycle of funding, which will open in January.
Okay, and I guess more so what I'm getting at, is there an opportunity? It seems that over the years that I've been on council, those funding levels have been rather consistent throughout the year. We haven't received a windfall from the federal government in any respect. Is there is there additional funding that is available that your office can apply for? Is it locked into a certain percentage based on demographics, census?
So the CDBG grant, those funding levels have they've been stagnant. They haven't really gone down. They really haven't increased in the last, I would say, 5 years. We've received pretty much the same amount of entitlement money. In terms of additional dollars that the city could receive, the funding is based on a formula. So the age of the housing stock, those are all calculated into a formula, and that's how the city's allocation is determined. In terms of an entitlement community, those funding levels are just granted to the city. We would have to apply for a competitive grant in order to receive additional funds. And in terms of the funding for nonprofit organizations, there's really not, those grant dollars aren't really geared towards those organizations.
Understood. Yeah, and the formula was kind of where I was going towards.
Right.
I attended St. Vincent de Paul meeting last night, and we were going over, their budget as they always do every month, and just the significant need out there clearly outweighs allocations. They're grateful for what they are given and any other sources of income, but just like every other charitable organization, there simply isn't enough money to go around. So thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Madam President?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes, through the chair, I noticed that the WA 22-04 medically fragile would be decreased by $56,379.12. Because of all the great need out there, it's kind of surprised me when I read this, that all this money wasn't spent. Can you tell me how it comes to pass that happened?
So this is a different grant. This is not the CDBG grant. This is actually our HOPWell grant, and that funding is for a 5-county region, and it's for folks who have HIV or AIDS. So the need in the community shifts, and for this program, at the time, we actually had some healthy folks, so the need wasn't there. And so we're asking council to reprogram these funds to better suit the needs of the folks in the community.
I see. I'm on the wrong one. I get it. Oh, thank you anyways. That answers my question for the next one. I yield.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes?
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12C, request to approve an RFP for real estate broker and to appoint a representative from council to serve on the panel. Don't everybody jump.
Is there anyone who would like to be nominated? I will do it if you need one.
Okay, I will make a motion to nominate Ms. Rogancy.
Second.
Okay, I accept the nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
13A, Council Secretary Mindy Moore, discussion in rate options to enforce approved agreement with State of Michigan Land Bank Authority and lost grant opportunities. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. The City of Warren has approved the intergovernmental agreement for the land bank. The City Council approved this matter by a unanimous vote of 7-0. The City Council notified the administration of this approval, which took place at the City Council's regular meeting of August 27th, 2024. Per Section 6.8 of the City Charter, the mayor had 96 hours to veto this action, which would be until the evening hours of August 31st, 2024. If the mayor opposed this for any reason, the mayor could have vetoed the council action. Otherwise, this is an approved action and the mayor's signature is required by law. Section 14.1A of the city charter indicates that the power to authorize the making of contracts on behalf of the city is vested in the council and shall be exercised in accordance with the provisions of law. Section 14.1B further indicates that all contracts shall be authorized by the council and shall be signed on behalf of the city by the mayor and the clerk. The signatures on the contracts by the mayor and clerk are not additional votes by the mayor and clerk to reverse or suspend or modify any action of the council. Only the mayor has this authority in the 96-hour window following the council action. This is underscored by the city charter at section 7.35, which indicates that the mayor has the duty to authenticate by her signature such instruments and proceedings as are required to be authenticated by her by law or by the council. The mayor's signature on this document is required by law in order to authenticate the document. The mayor has no legal discretion to withhold signature from this document. In the prior administration, Mayor Jim Fouts refused to sign a contract with an auditing firm after the city council authorized a forensic audit. In that case, former Mayor Fouts vetoed the council's approval of the contract, and the city council overrode the veto. Mayor Fouts, even after the veto override, refused to place his signature on the contract. The Macomb County Circuit Court ordered the former mayor to comply, and the audit contract was approved and implemented over the former mayor's objections. If the mayor has doubts and believes the land bank concept is unproven for Warren, the mayor can make her case to the public and the media, but we don't have to wait for the mayor. In 1 year, the mayor has not submitted any alternative plans to the council. The council approved this agreement over 3 months ago after publicly voting over 9 months ago in February 2024 to proceed with the land bank. This has been on the city council agenda multiple times over a 9-month period. The mayor made comments to the Detroit News in March 2024, August 2024, and October 2024, indicating the mayor's unwillingness to move forward. And the mayor chided the council, saying members have not done their homework on creating the land bank. I take exception to this comment. Council members have met with the county treasurer's office, the director of the state bank, land bank authority, State Representative Donovan McKinney. We have also met with a credit union representative who has worked with many land banks, as well as the former director of a successful county land bank. As part of doing our homework, we were also advised of available grant funds, and the city was eligible for $1 million or more in funding this year, as documented by an email we received from the State Land Bank Director Joe Rivet last week. There were multiple discussions with Mr. Rivet and State Representative McKinney, who is a member of the Appropriations Committee, about securing this funding. Further, we have reviewed materials from the Michigan Association of Land Banks, which includes 52 land banks in Michigan. In addition, we have reviewed materials available from the Michigan Association of Land Banks. I have also been doing my homework over the past 25 years in this community as a public servant, and I know we need to do something different to tackle this malignant blight and decay in our community. Every expert I have talked to has said that a land bank is a great tool for Warren. I trust our leaders to responsibly handle the Land Bank Authority, and it's the business and we have Ms. Barnwell, the treasurer would be a member of the land bank, the city controller, who is a permanent member of the authority, and a mayoral appointee. The funds of the Land Bank Authority will be handled by the city controller, and there will be public records. A majority of the membership of the land bank will be elected officials who are directly accountable to the voters. There is a misnomer that the land bank will be an unnecessary bureaucracy that only exists to shuffle and manage a bunch of empty lots. The 300 empty lots can be part of an overall strategy, including creating side lots, infill lots, homestead lots with a proper land reuse program that is approved by the land bank. Beyond managing vacant lots, the land bank can target and acquire troubled residential, commercial, and industrial properties and work toward repurposing these properties in a strategic manner. I don't know if Ms. Barnwell wants to add anything. If I could suspend the rules and ask Ms. Barnwell to come forward.
Support to suspend the rules.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Rules are suspended.
Good evening, council. I just wanted to spend a few minutes and talk about my support for the land bank. And as you all know, I've been treasurer since 2015, and I've unfortunately had a front row seat to some of these issues that we've had, really in the sale of some of these properties. And whether you're talking about blight issues, whether you're talking about these properties that were sold in bulk to landlords that unfortunately don't help maintain the properties as they should. There's a whole list of things we can talk about. So we are not here, I don't think any of us are here saying the land bank is gonna fix all these problems, but the land bank is an important tool. And the reason why is it gives us the ability to be strategic in the neighborhoods. And I had the opportunity to talk to the Oakland County Treasurer, Robert Wittenberg, and he echoed that sentiment exactly. What they have been able to do with the land bank, there's a lot of grants available when you have a land bank, and they've been able to strategize through the, in our case, it would be the administration, it would be council, it would be the treasurer, it would be all branches of government working together to really uplift some of these neighborhoods and pick things that are going to, we know that are going to help revitalize street by street. So it's not going to fix all the issues, but as the county treasurer said, and he said, the mayor, anyone from her administration, anyone from council is more than welcome to reach out to him, especially some of the things they've been able to do in Pontiac through the land bank, and really find ways to strategically approve purchases that have uplifted, again, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood. And it gives us, really, the residents more say and more power. And that is one thing I've heard over and over again these last 9 years that I've been involved in Warren government, is residents and myself have felt that everything is just out of their control, that their neighbors are being picked by who has the most money, or they're sold in these bulk sales, and their property is being sold by in their neighborhood was like one that no one really wanted, when someone, maybe their child or their grandchild, could have bought it and could turn everything around. So we can really put the power of the people. This is one of the ways to do it. And when we talk about who's going to, manage the administrative side of the land bank, I will come before council this upcoming April talking about my budget and how the treasurer's office, back when even I started, it was more accounting based, and now we're more technology driven in my office. This would be a great time to not really extend a big part of the budget, but budget a land bank administrator into my office from someone that's already in my office, as we're kind of reorganizing everything. So this notion, I know there's concern from the administration that, well, then there's going to be administrative costs and legacy costs. That's just not true. We can all come together and come up with a great strategy. And I respect Mayor Stone a lot. I appreciate that she listens to the residents, but I think she also needs to spend time listening to the people who have done the land bank, who have done the research, like people like Oakland County Treasurer, like myself. I've not been asked by anyone in the administration what I think of the land bank, and I spent the last 9 years kind of dreaming about when we could have a land bank and what that would mean to the residents in these neighborhoods, that they could more have a voice and a front row seat to what happens. And there's a lot of things that need to happen, not just the land bank. We have to, and I know council talks about this a lot too, but better control on blight, and we need to get a hold of what happens when we're selling these properties back to the city. There's different things that happen where we sell properties for $1, where that really shouldn't be the case, and there's really no oversight. This gives us a lot of oversight where, again, all branches of government are working together for the people.
Thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other item that Ms. Barnwell touched, a lot of the residents and residential property. This is a great tool also for commercial property. There's been a serious lack of economic development in the last 15 years in Warren, except for maybe the marijuana people who have made significant improvements to some of the industrial property. And we've already lost at least $1 million by the mayor holding this up. There's at least $2 million that may be available to us next year. And if she holds it up any longer, we're gonna miss out on that also. And that's just not fair to the residents. I suppose we have some options. Maybe we'll set a date when it's to be signed, and then we'll take action. Mr. Schroeder, what are our next moves? Maybe.
The next move, hopefully is it gets signed and we can move forward. Other than that, my mother used to say you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. And, there's plenty of analogies we can use. We could go to circuit court and get an order. We'll win the case. We've won that case many times before. It just seems like a waste of resources to be back in court again. And it's something I've talked to every council member, to a person who doesn't want to do that. But really, at the end of the day, that's our only option if the mayor doesn't want to sign it. Again, you referenced that the mayor has veto power, and it wasn't vetoed. So it's now in a contract. It needs to be signed. The state land bank is ready to sign it. I guess if, it would be a very, I wouldn't recommend rescinding our council's approval at all to start this process over after a lot of time and money and effort was put into it. But that would be an option. It wouldn't be a good one, but it's an option. So really, we're not left with many other options. I will say that I did meet with Ms. Michaels. I know Councilman Lafferty had a conversation with Ms. Michaels as well about 5 or 6 points we heard the mayor was concerned about, and I thought we addressed those concerns. The concerns were making sure that the finances of the land bank are handled in the city, that we're not hiring some outside financial firm to run the books and records. There were a handful of other concerns, and I thought we had addressed those concerns, and they can certainly be done through the bylaws of the authority when it's created. And again, 2 council members, 2 mayoral representatives, and the independently elected treasurer. There's a lot of checks and balances built in with this land bank, so it represents all sectors of the city. So again, I think at this point, it's, those are our options.
And quite frankly, the mayor's concerns are not our concern, because that time has passed. The mayor had months and months and months to voice her opinion, and she could have vetoed this, but she did not. And I think that we need to get this signed. I will give you an example. Every action that council takes, every meeting, we send a result letter on each item. And I have to sign every one of those, whether I voted, agreed with it, or not. And there's not many things that we've had big disagreements with this term, but certainly in the past, we've had some pretty contentious votes. But I still had to sign that and say this is the result, whether I liked it or not, or had questions or concerns. That's because it's a ministerial function. That is my duty and job to do as the secretary of the council. The clerk also has those same duties to sign. Once I sign, then the clerk has to sign on all of the ordinances or actions of council. And this is no different this time. And the mayor holding this up, I have no idea why, because the agreement has been reached. Council has approved it. We are the only body that can approve contracts in the city. So I don't know if we want to give a date and then decide from there. I don't want to go to the end of the year, because we're going to lose then, we've been told there's at least $2 million that may be available to us in grant money. And we're able to, with that money, like Ms. Barnwell said, we can have somebody in her office whatever costs that are. But the land bank can actually purchase property. It can hold property. So we can pick up property, hold it, sell it, put people in it, help. There's so many things that we can do with the land bank. It's just really limitless. And I just think this holding this up is just so disingenuous. It's certainly frustrating for all of us. I'm let somebody else talk.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Boyke?
would you like to go first?
Well, yeah, I was
Oh, you
waiting,
too,
but I
Councilman
didn't see
Newman
it.
first. We both had our hands up, but go ahead.
Oh, I
ahead,
wasn't
Mr.
looking away,
Newman.
sorry. Yeah, so as I understand it, it's a ministerial duty of the mayor to sign that document. It's way past the time that she should have done it. We've lost money. Our recourse is to take her to court, and as I understand it, we're setting a date where if she hasn't signed it by that date, we need to take her to court because the city can't be losing this money just because she doesn't want to do her job. I like the mayor plenty, and I'm really sorry to see what seems like a dereliction. I was wondering if it would be all right to request that Ms. Michaels come up and tell her if she knows of any details. I know it shouldn't be our concern at this point. But if Ms. Michaels
And
has
Ms.
something to
Michaels doesn't
say.
speak for the mayor. She's not the spokesperson of the mayor's office.
She's not a spokesperson for the mayor, but she
Not if
might
she's
have.
acting city attorney that they want to keep calling her.
Ms. Michaels, you're welcome to come up to the podium if Mr. Noonan has any
Thank you.
questions.
Ms. Michaels, do you have anything to say on this matter?
Thank you, yes. I've had conversations with Mayor Stone, and she does support a land bank. She wants to make sure that it could be properly administered. And I spoke to Mr. Schroeder. I even returned a returned draft to address some concerns. One of those aspects would be that there would be a memorandum of understanding between the Land Bank Authority and City Council and the mayor to ensure accountability and to ensure transparency and to maybe address some of the logistics of how the land bank would operate. And that's just a checks and balances issue. We also included, obviously, the controller would be the fiscal agent. And I think that there's one last issue over the properties that would be included in the land bank so that there could be a joint agreement between the council and mayor. But I don't think she's holding it up for any reason other than to assure that the money is there to fund the land bank and that it's properly administered.
So we're assured that the money is there and that except that we're losing out on money. Money is disappearing as we talk, pretty much. So I would encourage, if you happen to be speaking to the mayor, that you request that she kindly sign the document. And as for MOU, I don't think so. If she had objected and come up with something that back then, anyway.
If I may, Madam Chair, the MOU would not, it's not a holdup. That would be after the fact. The MOU would be an agreement between the authority and the city council and administration to ensure that the authority acts according to standards. That's the overall
I wouldn't
concern.
personally mind seeing a model agreement like that, but anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to yield to Mr. Boyke,
you. Yep.
from the chair.
Mr. Boyke?
Since Ms. Michaels is up there, have you been attending meetings regarding this land bank the last, how many months, 10 months? Discussions?
I've attended meetings with Mayor Stone.
Okay. Today I received an email from Mayor Stone, and I have a litany list. I mean, not just a couple concerns, a litany list. Why am I receiving this now when this should have been discussed with our members prior? To me, this is ridiculous. This is not how you operate a city. You know? And I'll just leave it at that, because you're acting city attorney. but to get an email right before a council meeting because it's on the agenda by her own words, why isn't she here? And that's all, I don't see her, or anybody, and you're here. And you're an active city attorney. And I'll just leave it at that. I want to reach out to Ms. Barnwell. Very good. You have a lot of experience, and I appreciate you reaching out to other treasurers to get that information. And I am so glad that you're putting the residents first. Thank you. I'll yield back.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Michaels. Mr. Lafferty?
Madam Chair, thank you. I want to underscore that Ms. Moore, myself, Mr. Schroeder, and Ms. Moore has probably put in more hours on this than any of us combined, but there's a lot of experience behind this agreement. And Ms. Barnwell said it herself, there are a number of authorities, there are a number of people with experience that are standing by, waiting in the wings to help us and to set this up the correct way. We have the framework. Now, show me a resolution that's perfect. Will there be needs to amend it in the future? Absolutely there will be. The land bank will mature just like any organization, just like any established commission or board. And there will be bylaws, there will be rules and structure put in place. But as Mr. Boyke alluded to, this email that we received, I can't describe it any better, a litany of concerns and changes that should have been brought to us 9 months ago. There was no secret when we put something on the agenda, where were those concerns then? And as I asked Ms. Michaels in one of the meetings that I had with Mr. Schroeder and her, where was, when the land bank agreement was on the agenda, where was the mayor then saying, can you pause for a couple of weeks? I have some concerns before you pass this, before you adopt this. Could you put the brakes on it for 2 weeks? Because there's 3 actions we can take up here. Well, actually there's 4. We can do nothing and the motion dies. We can approve it, we can deny it, or we can table it. Not one of those items, alternatives, were taken by the mayor. Not one of those items were asked of us, and this body, after hours and hours and weeks and months of research, and with the expertise of Mr. Schroeder and others, put together the framework for the agreement and adopted it. That was the time that the mayor had to do this. And now we've lost $1 million or more. That's not only dereliction of duty, it's malfeasance of public office. And there is no excuse for doing this. And I'm sorry, whether it's inexperience with the mayor, I'm sorry that you don't have the years of local experience that some of the people in this city do, but there is no excuse for not doing your job. And as I quoted to Ms. Michaels during our meeting, perfect is the enemy of good. We can make changes later on if there are changes required, but you have to get the signature on paper to start. And we are good at this point, if not great. And we're in a great position to start, and there are so many things that we could be doing right now with this land bank that are just stalled because of inaction in the mayor's office. Personally, I'm all about deadlines. Mr. Lezay and countless others have come up before us and asked us to stop a demolition, pull something out of abatement. All well and good. Let's sign a contract with that person. It's called a certificate of occupancy, or it's permits, and getting them into a certificate of occupancy at the end of the line. Let's set a date here. Let's give the mayor, I'm going to propose 72 hours to sign this document. Let the choice to go to court be with the mayor. It's not the choice of this council. We did our job. For the last 4 years, the previous council went back and forth with the mayor. I don't want to return to those days. There is absolutely no reason to do that. But the ball is in her court, literally. So if there is action to go to court, it will be by her hand and not this council. So I'm going to propose that we give her 72 hours from tonight to sign this document, and if she doesn't, we authorize Mr. Schroeder to pursue a writ of mandamus in Macomb County Circuit Court.
I will support that.
Okay. Mr. Lafferty has made a motion, Mr. Boyke supported. I will call the question. Mr. Lafferty,
Yes.
Mr. Boyke,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Noonan,
Very regrettably, yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
regrettably, yes as well. Motion carries. Next item.
Thank you, Ms. Barnwell, for. Next item is appointment of Gary Watts to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire September 2026. So moved.
Support, anyone?
Support.
Discussion.
This is a great appointment.
Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Mr. Lafferty?
we're on the appointment of Mr. Watts.
Correct.
And did we double check that the taxes are paid, the water bill is paid? I drove by earlier, I thought I saw a leaf or two on the front lawn. So, okay, I'll yield.
I believe his
I'll
wife
let the
pays
leaf
him
go.
2 months in advance, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay, very good.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
All right.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item. Congrats, Mr. Watts.
Congrats. Next item is 13C, motion to authorize litigation regarding damage to the city's waste transfer station and authorize the hiring of Cott Sangster PC to bring legal claims against prior operator as outlined in attorney-client privilege memorandum from the city attorney's office dated October 1, 2024. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
This is based on closed session.
Yes.
So I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yeah.
Mr.
Yes.
Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 14A, request of the Sanitation Division for an increase in budgeted appropriations through a transfer of funds between line items in the amount of $28,618 to cover contractual obligations associated with GELC 2027 collective bargaining and to purchase additional 95-gallon trash and recycling bar carts. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion, anyone? Hearing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
14B, request of the Sanitation Division to authorize the purchase of additional trash and recycling bar carts and lids from Schaefer Plastics North America LLC in the amount of $42,112.76. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion.
Madam Chair,
Madam Secretary.
I don't think is anybody here from sanitation? I just have one question. Why don't we order a whole bunch? We don't have storage?
You can
Sorry,
come up
come-
to the microphone.
I was gonna not make you walk all the way up here. It seems like we order these 2 or 3 times a year. And I do hear once in a while.
Yeah, we do order them, good evening.
Good evening.
We do order them 2 or 3 times a year, but as needed. They only take a week or 2 to come in.
Okay, so it's not a long wait.
And that's all that
Okay.
fits on the semi-truck.
Okay, I just thought maybe
Instead
it's
of
a long
having
time.
3 trucks,
I get it, I
it's a
get it.
lot
All right,
easier.
sorry to bother you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 14C, notice of appointment of John Harrison to the Crime Commission with the term expiration of June 30th, 2027. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Support Lafferty. Discussion, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison is a great candidate. He's not in default at all to the city or anything. But I put him on the regular agenda because the Crime Commission notified council office that they, in their bylaws, they request that anybody seeking membership to the Crime Commission attend 2 meetings. Of course, that's contrary to what the charter says, because the charter says that the mayor can just appoint whoever she wants with no qualifications or requirements. So I suppose if the mayor were aware of that requirement, she could adhere to that and suggest that, you know, maybe a candidate go sit for 2 meetings or whatever. But it seems that their bylaws are contrary to charter. And as I understand, there's an assistant city attorney assigned to every board and commission. So I think, and we keep running across this time and time again when we're dealing with different authorities, that we're finding the ordinances are outdated, the bylaws are outdated, and so I think we need to sort of have a systemic review of bylaws, the ordinances, and I think each commission should have a copy of the ordinance that says exactly what their duties are, because they are spelled out. And I think that's gotten a little confused in the last couple of years, in fact. So I think that would be a great thing if we could do just systemically, each person sort of look at their commission and see what needs to be updated. And because I think we ran into one, it was like 1966, the last time it was updated, which probably could need some, you know, sometimes the laws change and things like that. So that's the only reason that I put Mr. Harrison on the regular agenda. And nice to meet you. But he's certainly qualified to, and he's not in the default to the city at all. I just wanted to bring that issue up, that we sort of need to look at the bylaws and make sure of all the commissions that they're consistent with the charter and state law.
Madam President?
Ms. Moore?
I'm done.
Thank you. Mr. Noonan?
Yes, well, I'm wondering as to, the charter would supersede the bylaws then? Okay. I've had a conversation with Mr. Harrison, and the bylaws of the Crime Commission make a lot of sense relative to the Crime Commission, because it's very much a working commission. And they hope that the people that are appointed will actually pitch in and do a lot of work. And Mr. Harrison understood that when I spoke to him, and he was quite happy to work with the Crime Commission, go to 2 meetings, and then it can come back on the table, and at that point, they would have had a chance to meet him. He would have had a chance to find out what they actually want, because people should know what the duties of a position are, or a job are, when it's basically a job. So I would like to request that we table this matter until he's had a chance to go to 2 meetings, and then bring it back in February.
So your motion is to table. Is there support for?
Well, I didn't make the motion,
Okay.
but I would like to request that we change the motion to table until February.
Could I add something? I don't know that that is the appropriate thing for us to do, because the mayor has the right to appoint.
Right?
And I don't know if we want to get involved in bylaws that might not be consistent with the charter. Maybe we could ask Mr. Schroeder his opinion.
So, Mr. Harrison is appointed right now, because the mayor appointed him. The council, under the charter, would have 2 meetings to reject that. By tabling this, it would just put it out of council's reach to reject it. Typically, in this situation, council would receive and file the appointment. And with respect to the bylaws, I think most of the bylaws are probably just fine. The requirement that someone attend 2 meetings before they're appointed is something that's contrary to what the charter says. The charter doesn't have any prerequisite of attending meetings, although it might be a good idea. We can't
Okay.
undo the appointment
Okay.
unless the council, I don't think the council would want to terminate the appointment at this point. Once it's been made, there's no reason to do so.
Right.
And I don't think that they vote on a lot of substantive matters. They're not making policy, they're not in that realm, so, does that help?
Yeah,
Mr. Noonan, you have the floor.
thank you. So, I think the general idea that the Crime Commission has in their bylaws is that they would like it to be the normal chain of events, that they would find people, basically vet them, figure out how they work, and then refer them to the mayor. And so I guess my request at this point, at least until the bylaws can be possibly straightened out with the charter, would be if the mayor could please work with the Crime Commission to let them refer people to her. That would be really wonderful. And I guess I'm ready to go ahead and go along, say yes to John Harrison. He seems like an excellent candidate.
Madam Chair, that is really the way many commissions and boards have operated for all the years I've been involved, is those commissions often will look for people who are interested, and they will recommend those people to the mayor. In fact, I'm aware of the Crime Commission actually recommending somebody recently. So I think that's, I always ask, like ZBA, I always talk to the ZBA members, do you have somebody in mind that you think would be good? Because they know what the job is. And so they run into people that, oh, that person would be really good, that person would be good on there. So, but
Okay.
we would have to deny Mr. Harrison.
I don't want to do that.
No, I know you don't.
Okay.
I know you don't.
All right,
Madam Chair?
okay.
Mr. Lafferty.
Whatever.
Through the chair to Mr. Noonan, perhaps an alternative that I could offer to where I think that you were probably going,
Okay.
but you just didn't quite get there.
Okay,
There's a discrepancy between the bylaws of this particular commission and the charter, as
Right.
Ms. Moore indicated. Perhaps what we do, and I'll be more than happy to support it, in 2 weeks, we could co-sponsor an item under council business asking the city attorney's office and all of the respective attorneys for the commissions to perform a review of the bylaws for each commission, if they exist, and cross-reference them with the charter.
Okay.
Identify any discrepancies, any changes that need to be made. I'm certain that there are plenty of changes, similar to what we've done with the DDA. We asked them to update both their policy documents for Parks and Recreation and DDA for City Hall facilities. Perhaps that's a meaningful way to achieve this without holding up the appointment of Mr. Harrison.
I would gladly do that with you.
All
Sounds great.
Thank you. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Congrats, Mr. Harrison.
Sorry to put you in the middle.
Yeah, next item. Next item.
Next item is audience participation on general topics.
Members of the audience who would like to address the city council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form located at the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes, need to write your name and address on the form, and this is for general items. First up is Lori Harris.
Hi, Lori Harris. I've lived here 41 years. I want to say hi to Tony and Dorothy Baker. Tony, keep fighting for ADA. As you can see, the signs are still back here. Also, my friend David, who needs accessibility issues in the city. I did not know, I think the council did a great job of not promoting their concern about the mayor not signing this land bank. I didn't know this. If I'd known this, I would have spoken on the agenda items. I find it disgusting. I clearly, when Ms. Michael stood here, she was commenting that the mayor just doesn't trust the treasurer, the council, or anybody else to do their jobs. I'm just dumbfounded that the acting city attorney would defend that, and it reminds me of some other mutual agreement that the mayor wanted on something unreasonable recently. We've got to make progress. I appreciate the mayor sharing her photo ops with everybody, but I'd really like to see a difference being made. I haven't seen any effort by the mayor to go to the south end of the city and find out what the neighbors thought about the homeless shelters and how did it affect them last year, or the businesses. I want to see progress. I want to see her working with the council. I want to see her trusting the people that are elected and working together instead of constantly demeaning them by suggesting they don't know what they're doing or they don't know what they're talking about. We have a human resource department that is lacking, greatly lacking. And it's not just the police who are being affected by this, but it's other departments. It's unacceptable. It doesn't have to be this way. So let's stop having all this information that comes from the mayor that suggests nobody knows what they're doing except her, because that's not true. And it makes me mad on behalf of the council or the other people that are involved. And it upsets me that the acting city attorney acts like it's normal. It's normal to question something instead of saying to the mayor, you had an opportunity to veto this, you did not veto it, therefore, you need to sign that document. That should be the advice, not taking all of her concerns and coming up here as if it's normal. I know I'm
You're
done.
out of time.
Thank you.
Next is Joel Vanderlinden.
Joel Van Lin, longtime Warren resident. I want to jump on Mrs. Harris's comments about the mayor. She's not here. She's not doing her job. She's not listening to the people. She is derelict in her duties. This council is saying it herself now, or themselves now. She's irresponsible at her position. She's irresponsible in her hiring practices. She's irresponsible and tardy or absent or whatever, and whatever she's supposed to be doing, except for smiling for the camera. We, as a city, deserve better than Mayor Lori Stone. We, as a city, deserve better and the manning of the police department and the city departments and the other areas here. The thing being brought up about a land bank. What a beautiful idea. There's great ideas and money out there from the state, from the feds, that we can take care of people, citizens, Warren citizens. And she's sitting on her hiney, either not at City Hall or going for a photo ops or some LGBTQ theme, whatever, but she's not here working for us. And that is why she needs to be recalled. When the council itself is using the words dereliction, irresponsible, absent, she needs to go. On the other hand, I want to take this moment to wish happy birthday to Greg Pelacek, my son Adam, and to Elena. Tomorrow's their birthday, and they're good Warren citizens. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Mr. Van der Linden. That is the end of audience. Madam Secretary?
Council response to audience.
Madam President,
Mr. Lafferty?
just wish everyone a very blessed Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you.
Any additional responses?
Madam President, I would like to do that also. Thanksgiving is one of my very favorite holidays. I give thanks to God for my sobriety and for having a wonderful city council and a darn good mayor on average. And, okay, so there are some areas where improvement could be found. But anyway, keeping gratitude in mind seems to be a key way of being a healthy, happy person, and I recommend it to everybody. Gratitude lists are good things, and so I'm going to try to look on the bright side. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Noonan. Okay, next item.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Dwyer.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.